I was trapped alone for weeks, then my stepmom got what she deserved. The silence in that house was so heavy. You could almost feel it. For 3 weeks. My entire world was just these four walls. A personal prison designed by my stepmom, while she and my dad were off living it up in paradise. I was right at the edge of giving up. Completely hopeless when I saw it. The one thing she forgot, the key to my perfect revenge. Living with my dad and my stepmom. Lisa was like trying to navigate a minefield you couldn't see. To my dad, she was perfect, but for me, she was a storm cloud I was forced to live under. He never saw how she'd accidentally move my things, or how my mail would just disappear. He didn't hear how her comments, dripping with fake concern, were really just little digs meant to chip away at my confidence. I was 16, so I was old enough to know she was playing a game, but I felt powerless to do anything about it. My dad, bless his heart, just wanted a peaceful life, and Lisa held all the keys to that peace. The big announcement came during a dinner that was weirdly cheerful. "We're going to Hawaii," Lisa announced, her eyes sparkling. A second honeymoon. My dad looked thrilled. I forced a weak smile and asked when they were leaving. "Next week," he said, "and you get the whole house to yourself for 3 weeks." They tried to sell it to me as a treat, like it was some kind of privilege, but I saw the look in Lisa's eye, that little glint of triumph. This wasn't a gift, it was an exile. It hit me then. They weren't just excited for a vacation. They were excited for a vacation from me, and that stung more than I thought it would. The day they left was a total blur of fake hugs and empty promises to call. I watched their car drive off, feeling this strange mix of relief and total dread. The relief didn't last. The second the front door clicked shut, the sound felt so final it chilled me to the bone. I walked over to the little dish where we always kept the spare key. It was empty, a cold knot formed in my stomach. I checked the back door, bolted shut from the outside. This wasn't an accident, it was a cage. The first few days were pure rage and disbelief, but the next few weeks just bled into a living nightmare. The silence was the worst part. It started to mess with my head. I felt paranoid, anxious, and depressed all at once. The house I grew up in started to feel like a tomb. Lisa had left the pantry full, but it felt less like a caring gesture, and more like a zookeeper leaving food for an animal. Pretty soon, all the fresh food ran out. My life became a sad little rotation of canned soup and stale crackers. I was completely alone, abandoned by the two people who were supposed to protect me. What would you have done in that moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And you're definitely going to want to stick around, because you won't believe what happened next. I finally broke in the 3rd week. I was just huddled on the cold garage floor, sobbing when my eyes landed on my grandpa's dusty old toolbox. Tucked under a rusty wrench was a key. It was old and grimy, and it was for a door I hadn't thought about in years. The old cellar entrance on the side of the house, hidden behind some overgrown bushes. Lisa thought she'd planned the perfect prison, but she'd forgotten one tiny thing. Right then, a promise burned inside me like a fire. I wasn't just going to escape. I was going to make them regret this. The key worked, the old cellar door groaned open, and I breathed fresh air for the first time in what felt like forever. But I didn't run. I went back inside, cleaned the entire house from top to bottom, and put the key right back where I found it. I made that house look spotless, like I'd been the perfect, responsible daughter they pretended I was. The day they were supposed to come home, I let myself out, walked over to a neighbor's house, and put on the performance of a lifetime, telling them how worried I was because I hadn't heard from my parents in days. My dad finally called, but he didn't call my phone. He called the neighbors. His voice was just a shattered whisper. There had been an accident. It turns out Lisa, in all her vanity, tried to take some dramatic selfie on a cliff's edge. She slipped. She was alive, but she was in a coma. I guess you could say karma came for her. Hard, it's almost poetic, isn't it? She locked me in a prison of silence, and now she's trapped in one of her own. Of course, when the police got involved, the whole story about me being locked in the house came out. Turns out locking a kid, even a teenager, in a house with no way out is a pretty serious crime in most places. So now my dad wasn't just dealing with a wife in a coma. He was facing an investigation from Child Protective Services for his own neglect. They left me in that house thinking I was helpless, but in all that crushing silence, I found a strength I never knew I had. They walked all over me when I needed them most, and now they get to spend the rest of their lives knowing I never really needed them at all.